tanya, kenapa when you sweating, okay, after then you feel cooler? So this is how to explain. Okay, so evaporation is the process, it is the escape of more energetic particles from the surface of a liquid. So let's say kita ada, let's say I have a beaker of water. Okay, large beaker macam ni. So I have water here. Okay, now what happened? So these are, okay, of course lah, these are our molecules kan, molecules of water. Now, if let's say I let the beaker in at the room ataupun outside ke whatever lah. So at room temperature, okay, for example. Now, so there is heat from the surroundings, right? So now when so these particles, okay, there are particles leaving the surface of water. Okay, what do you know about the particles that are leaving the surface? So those particles ni yang leaving the surface ni, okay, these particles kita kata they are more energetic. They are more energetic. They have more kinetic energy. Because of they have kinetic energy, they have more kinetic energy. That's why they are able to escape from the surface. Faham tak? Okay, boleh So, kalau tak faham, stopkan cikgu. Now, if more energetic particles escape, therefore, what is left here, yang tinggal dekat dalam ni, yang ada less energy ke more energy? Sekarang kita nak buat perbandingan. We have particles inside the water and we have also particles of water yang dah leave the surface of water. Faham kan? Now, kenapa these particles able to leave the surface? Kenapa tadi? Because they have
energy.
Yes, they have energy yang macam mana? The energy is more. The kinetic energy is higher. Higher than siapa? Higher than these particles yang kat dalam air tu. Faham tak? Faham? Faham ke tak faham? Jadi, so dua-dua ada kinetic energy. This one also kinetic energy. Ini pun ada kinetic energy. Cuma the kinetic energy outside ni, dia orang ada lebih lagi kinetic energy. That's why they escape. They able to escape. Kan? Macam contoh orang jahat lah. Kan orang jahat masuk dalam kena masuk penjara kan. Tapi kalau orang jahat yang ada contoh tak best pula. Apa contoh yang best lah. Tapi macam tu lah. Kalau orang jahat tu dia ada tenaga lebih ataupun dia bijak lebih sikit, dia bolehlah keluar daripada penjara ke tak? Kalau dia jahat sangat-sangat kan. Tapi kalau orang yang tahu dia buat salah tu tersilap ke apa semua, lepas tu dia pun tak ada tenaga, tak mampu, dia pun stay je lah dekat dalam penjara. Tak best tu saya punya apa tu example. Nanti saya cari example yang lebih faham. So awak faham lah tapi Okay. Now kita ada kita ada difference in temperature in energy. So kinetic energy is higher for those yang able to leave, escape. So siapa yang tak boleh escape tu, they have kinetic energy, but the kinetic energy is slightly lower. Therefore, kita kata the liquid contains few high energy, okay, and more low energy particles. Itu yang tinggal. So because of that, the average temperature decreases. Jadi tadi dalam ni temperature high. Kan? At the beginning. But finally temperature will cool down ataupun temperature will decrease. Kenapa? Because some of the heat has been taken away with the particles. Particles sudah dah bawa dah tenaga tu. So that is why, okay, therefore that is why a body in contact with an evaporating liquid is subsequently cool. So that's why lah you feel cooler after you sweating. Sebab apa? When you sweat, the sweat again, awak punya peluh tu will be evaporated. So when the peluh tu evaporated, so cecair-cecair yang terbebas tu bring along energy with them. Jadi tenaga yang tinggal dekat awak berkurang. So you will feel cooler. Okay? So what are the factors of evaporation? So here we show, okay, I show you the factors affecting evaporation. So what are they? First is temperature. Okay, second is surface area. And the third is humidity. So what is this case? So if you increase the temperature, so more particles have energy to escape. Therefore, rate of evaporation akan increases. If you increase surface area, so you compare if I have this beaker compared to this beaker, okay, which one has larger surface area? Okay, A. Therefore, A will have more molecules close to the surface. Therefore, rate of evaporation higher. Same for this one, humidity. So if you reduce the humidity, if the air is less humid, so fewer particles are condensing, therefore rate of evaporation increases. Alright. Okay. So this is an example. So this is the topic of evaporation. Okay. Right. So let's look at our past year IGCSE questions. Okay, kita dah tengok soalan-soalan ni. Now, kita tengok. Ni pun dah. Okay, this one last topic last week. Okay. Look at question number 10. Okay, everyone, you alright lagi? Kalau tak okay bagi tahulah kita boleh break ke apa semua, nak minum ke apa ke kan. Okay, two freezers X and Y are identical. Okay, the same type of freezer. It's just that one has a door opening at the front and the other has a door opening at the top. Both doors are the same size and are opened for the same amount of time. So kejap-kejap dia akan buka, kejap-kejap dia akan buka. Which freezer gains the least amount of thermal energy in this time and why? So what do you think the answer is? Okay, before answering the question, you must understand the question. So do you understand the question? What the question wants? The question asks you, which freezer gains the least amount? Why the question asks you about gain of energy? Sebab dalam freezer sejuk ke panas? Sejuk kan? Okay, so freezer sejuk. Itu tujuan dia. What happen when you open the door? Okay, heat will enter. Kan, heat will enter. So, which position? Position X or position Y? Freezer gain the least thermal energy. Least. Kat sini dia kata least. Least tu sikit. Yang mana satu? Okay, katalah. So, jawapan dia adalah freezer gains the least thermal energy is at Y. So, ada dua Y kat sini. But the question is why? Kenapa? Because, okay, this is about convection lah. Kita dah tahu kan tentang convection. Okay, kenapa? Because kat sini cold air falls. Kan kita tengok kan? For convection to happen, heat will rise. And then the cooler gas will fall down. So that's the answer. C. Next. Evaporation occurs from the surface of a pool water. So can you imagine pool water? Now, which statement describes these changes of state? Evaporation happens at the surface of pool water. Okay, so kita ada pool dan ada water. Tengok daripada side view. Evaporation happens. Which statement describe this change of state? Siapa nak type jawapan dia? What do you think answer is? Or you can tell me the answer. Yeah, pandai siapa tu? Thank you. Thank you for responding. So number 10, the answer is the more energetic molecules escape the liquid. We have just mentioned about the more besarnya. Kan? The more energetic molecules escape the liquid. Sebab kalau dia tak ada more energetic, kalau dia ada less energy, it will not able to escape. Hanya yang laju saja yang boleh escape. Itulah. Right. Number 12, a gas. Okay, so this is about compression ataupun this is about molecules of a substance, a gas. So a gas in a sealed container is compressed slowly so that its temperature doesn't change. What happens to the molecules of the gas as a result of this compression? Is there any change of temperature?
No.
Tak ada kan? Sebab dia kata so that its temperature doesn't change. Bila temperature doesn't change, okay, siapa yang related to what physical quantity is related to temperature? Tadi kinetic energy, kan? Remember just now I told you when we talk about temperature change, that means there is kinetic energy change. Tapi if there is no temperature change, that means kinetic energy doesn't change. So for this question, kinetic energy berubah ke tak ada perubahan?
Tak ada perubahan.
Tak ada perubahan. Kenapa tak ada perubahan? Sebab no temperature change. Faham tak ni? Faham tak ni? Oh, ada yang jawab. Ada yang kata C, ada yang kata B. Okay, so kita tengok. So now sekarang A. Dia kata the average speed increases. Average speed ni is talking about kinetic energy. So kalau A, the question tells you kinetic energy increases. Is that correct or wrong? Okay Adam. Class. Number 12 ni kan tadi I told you kinetic energy ni dia berkaitan dengan temperature. If temperature change, kinetic energy will change. But if there is no temperature change, kinetic energy will not change. So A ni, the answer A, it talks about average speed. So saya bagi tahu you all, average speed tu, speed maksudnya kalau sekarang ni kalau katalah depan awak ni ada laptop kan, laptop tu bergerak. Maksudnya the laptop has speed. But if the laptop is not moving, maksudnya dia tak ada speed lah. Now, bila ada speed, dia bergerak, that means the object has kinetic energy. Jadi statement A ni, it is saying the kinetic energy increases. Is that correct? Betul tak statement A tu?
Salah.
Salah, sebab now kinetic energy is no change kan? No change in kinetic energy. Okay, sebab apa? No temperature change. So A tak boleh diterima, not the answer. B, the average force in a collision between a molecule and container increases. Tiba-tiba dia cakap pasal force, tapi mungkin betul lah kan? Right, tak apa, kita hold dulu. C, there are more frequent collisions between molecules and the container. What do you think? D, the volume of each molecule decreases. D betul tak? D ni out. Kenapa out? Volume of siapa? Dia kata volume of molecule lah. Molecule tu yang berubah-ubah. So if this is the box, molecule ni, we talk about this molecule, and then dekat sini, molecule tu jadi kecil. Logik ke? Molekul yang berubah. Salah. Molecule doesn't change. Kan? Molekul tu atom-atom tu. The atom-atom will not change. So D tu salah. So B or C? So the answer is okay, C. There are more frequent collisions between molecules and the container. Kenapa? Sebab inilah dia. Number of molecules yang sama, but it has been compressed. Jadi dia akan lebih banyak berlanggar. Okay. Number 13. Okay, tapi tak apa dulu. Okay. So number 14, this is very easy. Tapi termasuk juga dalam past year question. What is the correct particle for solid? Nampak macam senang, tapi mana satu?
B.
Okay, this one tak ada masalah lah. B, beza kan A, C dengan D. Okay. Untuk semua A, C dengan D tu semua apa? Tu semua adalah liquid.
Liquid.
Okay, number 15. Masih lagi evaporation. Water in a beaker evaporates when left on a bench for a period of time. Which three factors all affect the rate of evaporation of the water? Oh, direct ni soalan ni. Senang je. So 15, the answer is? Wind speed. Okay, semua ada wind speed. Surface area betul? Betul. Surface area betul. Temperature?
Betul.
Betul juga. So mana jawapan dia? A sahaja. Okay, volume doesn't, we don't care about volume. Contohlah, awak ada bekas ni yang sama saiz. Satu volume besar, satu volume kecil. Rate of evaporation. Sebab ni rate. So tak ada bergantung. Yang terkeluk, yang terescape depends on the surface saja. Sebab yang bawah-bawah tu duduk diam je kan. Okay. Now, 16. Why, okay, tak apa tu, start topik yang seminggu lepas. Okay, which role describe the forces between the molecules and the motion of the molecules in a solid? Oh, this is also very easy. Tengok sekali dah tahu dah jawapan dia kan? The answer is? Yes, ada. Forces between molecules, solid. So this question is for solid.
Strong.
Strong. Okay, so C and D is not the answer. Tapi A ke B?
B.
B, because it vibrates only. Tak boleh move. Kan? They only vibrate. Wet clothes are hanging outside to dry. Nampak soalan IGCSE dia more to evaporation. Ada soalan latent tapi sekejap lagi kita tengok. Wet clothes are hanging outside to dry. Which condition decreases the rate? Kurangkan the rate of evaporation. So if higher temperature, the rate of evaporation will increase. Kan? So B is not the answer. Sebab soalan nak decrease the rate. Okay? Windy day akan increase. This will increase the rate. This will increase the rate. So the answer is surface. Decrease the surface. So A is decreasing the surface. Whether the clothes doesn't talk about the, this one is not the factor. Kan? Kenapa ni? Ada yang terkeluar ke? Okay. Okay, so the answer is A. Alright, so we look at one example of question before we stop. Okay, so this is, okay, so nampak soalan 4 marks. You just need to talk about evaporation. Describe in terms of molecules what happens when liquid evaporates. So your answer tadi related to, so ada yang kinetic energy higher. Di mana the molecules that escape to. So because of that, the kinetic energy ataupun the energy of the molecules left in container. Alamak, tiba-tiba dia tak berlari ni. Oh Allah, macam mana tu? Sudah terbuat garisan yang panjang. Okay, kinetic energy of the molecules left in container decreases. So therefore, apa jadi? So temperature lower in terms of molecules. Temperature lower, so less kinetic energy. So dia akan jadi cooler. Okay, state 2 changes in the weather that help the wet clothes to dry more quickly. This one also related to the factors affecting the evaporation. Alright. Okay, so this is, saya cari soalan. Okay, latent heat. So define the specific latent heat of fusion. So by hook or by crook, you need to understand the term and then you can write the definition in your own words. Okay, cuba awak tulis sendiri dekat buku awak kan. What is the answer of specific latent heat? Kita dah tengok dah tadi. I'm sure every one of you dah tahu dah kan the difference between specific latent heat dengan latent heat. And then the difference between specific latent heat dengan specific heat capacity. So if you want to answer this question, so what's the answer? Maybe you can write the answer. Okay, saya bagi masa sikit untuk awak fikir-fikirkan, recall the answer. So, specific of latent heat of fusion. Dia ada 2 markah. Kenapa? So, first, the question asks you about Okay, they expect you to answer about specific latent heat. And then the question expect you to answer about fusion. So kena mentionkan dua-dua ni. So first kali you see it is the heat energy release ke fusion? Release or absorbed? Bila fusion is solid to Europe, kenapa dia macam tu sekarang? Okay, sekejap. Sorry. Energy absorbed or released? So fusion is solid to liquid. Heat energy absorbed or released when? Okay. Buat macam cikgu lah. Macam mana cikgu buat? I write in point form. So point yang pertama, heat energy absorbed or released. When? Bila? You ask yourself. Bila? When? Siapa? When 1 kg substance. Kenapa kena mention 1 kg substance? Because this is specific. Okay. 1 kg substance. Kenapa dengan 1 kg substance tu? Change from
Temperature.
Okay, itu kat bawah. Temperature no change without change in temperature atau proper sentence lah. Without without change in temperature. Tapi kat sini ada missing lagi kat sini. Sebab soalan tanya pasal fusion. So kena sebut lah. Okay, what is it?
From solid to liquid and liquid to solid.
Yes, kena sebut from solid to liquid ataupun from liquid to solid pun boleh. Sebab dia bagi just tahu fusion saja. Okay, so baru dapat 2 marks. Senang ke susah? Senang kan? Itu dah jawapan kat situ. Bagusnya. Okay, good. Okay, ni semua calon-calon A-star students. Okay, now tengok soalan kira-kira sikit. Small pieces of ice, kita ada lagi 15 minit kurang. Small pieces of ice at 0 degrees Celsius are added to. Okay, bila saya dapat soalan macam ni, macam susah sikit kan? Tapi 2 markah je. So saya akan drawkan sikit lah. Cikgu draw apa? Okay, draw. A small pieces of ice. So kita ada ice. Okay, kenapa dengan ice tu? The small piece of ice are added to. Okay, sekarang ni the ice 0 degrees Celsius. Okay, and then dia tambah the ice into water. Dah ada water and the water is 0.35 kg. The initial temperature of the water is, okay, so this is the mass. Initial temperature of water is 24.5 degrees Celsius. The temperature of the water decreases to, okay, and then final temperature is 0 degrees Celsius. The water loses 35,000 of thermal energy as it cools. So, tadi ni dia panas sikit. Now, bila dah masukkan ice, ada heat energy released. Siapa yang akan absorb the heat energy? Cuba teka. Boleh teka tak? Dia kasi kat sini, the water loses thermal energy. Betul tak? Tapi kita dah belajar tajuk energy. Energy is conserved. Siapa yang akan absorb the energy? Siapa? Siapa yang ada dalam cerita ni? Batman? Spiderman? Awak? Siapa? Ke Beaker? The ice. Very good. So the water release the heat, tapi somebody will absorb it. Dia takkan hilang macam tu je. So the ice will absorb the heat. Itu satu benda yang awak kena tahu Okay, sambung balik baca. All the ice and then melts. Itu tandanya ice melts. Kenapa ice melts? Sebab absorb heat. Daripada siapa? Daripada water. So dia kata kat sini, the specific latent heat of fusion of ice is this value. Calculate specific capacity of water. Okay, ni soalan ni dia boleh gabungkan. So dia orang gabungkan soalan yang kita belajar minggu lepas. So kita nak calculate specific capacity of water. So specific capacity of water, what's the formula? C equals to Q over M change theta. Do you know Q, the energy? Yes. 35,000 joule. Do you know the mass of water? Yes, 35 kg. Do you know the temperature change? Yes, you know. 24.5 minus 0 degrees Celsius. And that gives you, what's the answer? Tekan kalkulator. Saya tak ada pula skema jawapan. Kena tekan kalkulator. Dah ada 25. So, 35,000 divided by answer. So jawapan dia 4.6 ataupun selalunya kita jawab tulis 4.08 darab 10 kuasa 3. Ada unit tak? Okey, jangan risaulah, unit tak susah nak hafal. Awak nampak tak sini? Tuliskan saja. Joule per kg per degree Celsius. Per ni sebab dia dekat bawah kan tadi? Dia dekat bawah ni kan? Okay, so that's the answer. Now, the mass of ice added to the water. So dia nak suruh cari, ni 3 markah. So yang ni agak complicated sikit. Saya nak buat tu. Okay. So the mass of ice added to the water. So it's not that difficult lah. So kita tahu kan, kita ada 2 situation. So the first situation is heat energy released by water is equal to the heat absorbed by the ice. Okay. Now, ada soalan tak nak yang tanya yang ni? Q tu simbol tu semua tahu faham. Now, we know that the water and the ice, kita dah tahu dah the values. The values is given in the question. This one 35,000 joule. Now ice ni, okay. Untuk apa yang berlaku kat situ ice tu? The mass of ice added to the water. So ice, apa perubahan yang berlaku pada ice? Kita tengok sini Dekat sini ice, okay. Ice temperature 0 degree Celsius. Nanti now, so kat sini apa yang berlaku? Ice akan jadi water kan? Okay, ice jadi water. So that is latent. This is latent heat. Okay, so water masa tu dia melt. Masih lagi 0 degree Celsius. Okay. So kita nak tahu latent heat ni lah. Kenapa? Sebab the question tells you the temperature of water jadi 0 degree Celsius. Maksudnya hanya ini saja yang berlaku kan? The ice just change its substance jadi liquid and then dia mix with the water. So dekat sini, what is the formula you should use here? What's the formula here? What is the formula of latent heat tadi? Q equals to ML. Jadi dekat sini, yes, you just write ML. Okay, what do you want? You want M. So you rearrange the formula here. Therefore, M equals to 35,000 over, what is L? Do you know L? It's given here. Nampak? Jadi 35,000 over 3.3 times 10 to the power of 5. Ya, tekan saja kalkulator. Okay, 3.3 x 5. So the answer is 0.106 kg. Situlah markah dia. First mark, you able to state they are equal. Second mark, you able to write this formula. Maksudnya awak tahu the answer, the definition of latent heat. And then you get the answer correctly. That is the marks. Dapat 3 markah.